Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufa.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Victoria.
Good
Tundu, MKO Abiola. Yes, green with a splash of lemon. Yes, Ruben, a queen is sitting beside you.
Oh,
Take note.
yes, thank you.
And a back point.
Yes. Now let's start the review with these day newspapers, Nigeria's newspaper of records. The lead story: abducted Chibok girls' parents express hope children will return home soon. They will be rescued. Zulum pledges. Students not forgotten, says federal government. Yesterday, on the 7th anniversary of the abduction of the Chibok girls, because all kinds of promises that were made in the past being restated that these girls will come back, and the parents are hopeful because 7 years after the abduction, 112 girls still in captivity. We cannot bring this matter to closure until every of those girls are accounted for one way or the other, returned to their parents and their kindreds. And those who have died will also need to know if they have died. So later in this program, of course, a special 1-hour package documentary will be played for the benefit of our viewers and our international audience. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper: over 100,000 flee to Niger Republic after Boko Haram attacks Borno town. 10 more people killed in Damasak, houses burnt, women, children in distress. Legislators: yes, the insurgents are still causing havoc, despite the best effort of the Nigerian military. But again, this is not unexpected, as the military are upping the ante in the fight with the new Chief of Army Staff and other service chiefs. These insurgents are also aiming at soft targets to stake their claim that they are still well and alive. So the battle is still on. The fight to subdue insurgents and insurgency still very much on in the northeast. Now, the Vanguard newspaper: 60 billion naira printed for March allocation. Obaseki lied, federal government. Well, issue raised by Edo government, Governor Sad, not a fact. Finance minister adds, not true, we printed money to share at FARC, says Nigeria's debt at sustainable level. Allocation shortages usually augmented from equalization fund, finance ministry official. Well, at least there is some comment that somehow they augment the shortages. Now, the finance minister did not use the word Obaseki lied, but of course, journalistic license, you can interpret that. But if the response or the reports from the Obaseki angle, which Rotus read earlier in the program, is anything to go by, it means we have to still look and dig deep to get the truth of this matter. The Vanguard newspaper: experts are already commenting on this matter. Avoid reckless money printing to fund deficits, experts warn. It is untrue we printed 60 billion naira, FG replies Obaseki. Seek alternative funding options as country risks falling into hyperinflation. Senate summons minister, AGF over 7.5 billion naira secret withdrawals. Now, the Punch newspaper, still on the economy: states face cash crunch, salaries swallows revenues, federal government seeks more funds. We need more money for debt servicing, day by day running of government, admits federal government. Ekiti spends 93% of allocation on workers on workers, receives 3.1 billion naira on the average, says the state. We can't continue spending 90% of our revenue on civil servants, pensioners. That's Gombe State. Well, the states are bogged down with payment of salaries. You wonder what else do they do? But that is why states cannot just rely on allocation from FARC. They must also generate revenue internally if they are to do serious business of providing infrastructure for their citizenry. Now, the Business Day newspaper, Nigerian states prioritize salaries over investments. The same story about states and their revenues. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, Umahi's bomb chair, external forces plotting to cause war in Southeast. Governor exonerates IPOB, Eastern Security Network, from attacks in zone. Now, other newspapers are also carrying this story on their front pages. The Nigerian Tribune, there are plots to incite war in Southeast, Umahi. Now, other stories, the Nation newspaper, Fayose, that's Ayodele Fayose, former Ekiti State Governor, how Southwest PDP Congress poll was rigged. Ex-governor alleges violence, manipulation. Or your PDP, he should accept defeat. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper has another PDP story. Ripples in PDP over Saraki's alleged presidential bid. Without zoning, nobody can decide eligibility. That's according to the party. Now, foreign newspapers quickly. Now, the Times of UK, 6-hour waits for returning holiday makers. Yes, when travel restrictions are lifted or relaxed from May 17, travelers will have to spend as much as 6 hours. They will be in queues for more than 6 hours after the rules to face a border. Of course, 10,000 checks a day will be enforced to enforce the quarantine rule of the UK once these travel restrictions are lifted. But on the front page of the Times of UK, the photograph there, if we can see that quickly, yes, called Generation Game. A shot of the Queen and the late Prince Philip and all their great-grandchildren. That photograph, a shot taken for an occasion, for a time like this, when the prince will be no more, just released by Buckingham Palace. Now, the Financial Times of UK reporting the same story as the Wall Street Journal lead. Yeah, the Financial Times. Coinbase, $76 billion puts seal on cryptocurrencies asset class. Digital exchange list on NASDAQ, market capitalization exceed ICE. Powell voices reservation. Yes, the stock market investors valued Coinbase at $75 billion in its debut on NASDAQ. The first listing of a big cryptocurrency exchange that granted mainstream validation to digital assets class 22 years after the creation of Bitcoin. Yes, that in itself is cherry news for those who are investing in Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. Now, in Nigeria, we are constricting or banning cryptocurrency transactions in our banks. But the world is moving on. And with that listing, initial market capitalization, the share opened at $381 yesterday, giving Coinbase a market capitalization that immediately surpassed that of New York Stock Exchange parent company ICE, which is worth $67 billion. Rufai, Ruben, and Tundu. Rufai, I know you are interested in cryptocurrency. Now, listed, and you see the market capitalization there.
I mean, I wouldn't say much. It's obvious. The world is leaving us behind as always. And it's just time for us to open up our eyes and see properly. You can see the story of Coinbase. The evolution is on. I think somebody said in the 70s the revolution will not be televised, but we're seeing the revolution right on
Gil Scott-Heron.
Gil Scott-Heron. Revolution will not be televised, but we're seeing the revolution being televised live. Coinbase, cryptocurrency, and we're seeing others. So the tech revolution is being televised. I'm sure we are watching.
Well, the question to ask is that, is this a sign of cryptocurrencies becoming accepted by the ordinary investor, becoming the new mainstream, particularly at a time when major companies like Tesla and others are saying that they will now accept payments in cryptocurrencies? Now, is this still something that we should be wary of, we should be careful about because of what we have seen in terms of the volatility of cryptocurrencies? If central banks, and financial institutions elsewhere decide to descend on cryptocurrencies, whether it's Ethereum or Bitcoin or Coinbase that manages the digital payment platforms, what are we likely to see? So I don't know, but this looks like a major achievement from Brian Armstrong, who is the founder of Coinbase, and also, Coinbase going from that level to the highest level. In terms of its, stock price, share price, it's even doing much better than British Petroleum, and many other big companies. But that is that as relates to that. Yesterday, I think one of the subjects we discussed was JUSON, the Judicial Union, Staff Union of Nigeria. Now, they've insisted that they are going to continue with their strike because they think they have, a very strong case. And you'll recall that we pointed out yesterday that they are supported by Section 81 of the Constitution and also Section 121 of the 1999 Constitution. And they've won 3 different cases in court, in which the court say that, look, they are entitled to financial autonomy, which is also further backed by Executive Order number 10 by President Muhammadu Buhari. But the state governors have been very adamant. They were supposed to have a meeting yesterday. I don't know the details of the outcome of that meeting between JUSON and the governors. The governors are saying that there are inconsistencies in the Executive Order number 10. But the Executive Order number 10, which is just an administrative handmaiden, cannot be superior to the provisions of the 1999 Constitution and also the rulings that have been given in the cases instituted by Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria and also by Olisa Agbakoba, who also went to court to test the law in this regard and got, a positive ruling from the court. The interesting part of it is that all of this, it even goes beyond, salaries. You would think that maybe judicial workers in Nigeria are looking for more money. No, it's about the administration of justice. The big issue is about the independence of the judiciary. But state governors are used to controlling the state judiciary. They are used to controlling the local governments, and that's why they are putting up the convenient argument that they are waiting for the president to come back from the UK. Now, that kind of monarchical, mentality, they are waiting for daddy to come back, whereas they are supposed to be governors of their states and to have an independence of their own. So let daddy come back home mentality that these governors are, exhibiting is quite strange, in my view.
All right, Daddy Afeni, thank you so much for your time.